So it looks like Chelsea got their man. Reports indicate that Mauricio Pochettino will be their next manager, and boy does he have his work cut out for him in what looks to be one of the most difficult rebuilds in any club in Europe. Or is it? I'm going to argue that he's got one of the easiest jobs in front of him. We're going to talk about that and more here on Pints and Punditry at Total FIFA Career Mode. Welcome back to Total FIFA Career Mode. This is Pints and Punditry, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Chelsea Mauricio Pochettino situation. What are the expectations? What is he walking into? And is it actually a difficult situation? I definitely want to get your comments on all of this, so make sure you comment below. Follow the channel, definitely subscribe, like the video, and follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM, where the conversation is always going on. Okay, Chelsea, you got your guy, Mauricio Pochettino. He's in. This is a mess, right? Chelsea has been a complete mess all year, and he's got to do a lot of cleanup, right? There's no getting around that. But what I want to talk about, what I've really been thinking about is how difficult is his situation compared to, let's say, a situation like Tottenham or other clubs where there's going to be a managerial change, particularly big clubs. A place like Tottenham, a lot of stuff needs to happen. They need a lot more talent. They need to change out a lot of players, and the new manager, whoever they decide to go with, is not going to have a lot to work with. That is not the problem at Chelsea. In fact, their problem is they have too many players and too much talent. The spending spree that Todd Boehly went on and the amount of players he brought in has actually created the opposite set of problems. They don't have room in the dressing room for all the players. No manager in the world could possibly rotate enough to keep all of these high-level players happy. They're going to ignore their young players. They've got long-established players that are now not playing. It's a mess, but it's the other mess, which makes it a lot easier. Mauricio Pochettino does not have to hope Chelsea brings in talent. In fact, he has to hope they get rid of enough of it that he can manage the rest of what is left. So, my initial question was, is this a difficult situation for him, or is it an easy one? And I'm going to argue that it is a very easy situation, for a couple reasons. One, the expectations are very low. Wait, at Chelsea the expectations are low? No, the expectations are to win, but look at the track record. Right? Look at what has happened at Chelsea. So if you are Mauricio Pochettino and you go in and you don't immediately have success and in 6 months you're gone, is that even going to be your fault? Or are you just the next in a long list of candidates that wasn't given a proper chance? Right? You can certainly make that argument. I'm looking at this from Pochettino's point of view, and if this doesn't work out at Chelsea, is he going to be able to find his next big job? And the answer is almost assuredly yes. If he gets run out of there in 6, 8, 9 months, halfway through next season, they're still sitting mid-table, it's not going to be his fault any more than it was Graham Potter's fault, or Frank Lampard's fault, or Thomas Tuchel's fault, or anybody else in the revolving door that they've had, unless they make the changes that he wants to make. I am operating under the assumption that by taking this job, Mauricio Pochettino got certain assurances from management and from ownership, because he's a smart guy who would not have taken this and put himself in this situation had he not received those reassurances. Mauricio Pochettino has been linked to every big job in Europe since leaving PSG. And so he basically had his pick, and he was just sitting back waiting for the right opportunity. What does the right opportunity mean? Well, I'm going to get a club that is funded properly, check, check and a half for Chelsea, and I'm going to get some decision-making capabilities and get to run the club the way I want to run it, top to bottom, and I'm going to get some choices in player personnel, right, and have a say in who's in the dressing room. I would be absolutely shocked if Pochettino took the Chelsea job without receiving those reassurances from Todd Boehly and others. And so he's going to get a say here. He's going to get a say in who goes. I can't imagine they're going to bring in too many players. They may do, and they have been rumored with a lot of 2-for-1 moves, 3-for-1 moves. There was a Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech to AC Milan for Rafael Leao type move that was reported, but even that wasn't enough to get Leao. They're trying everything, right? And of course, What Chelsea fails to realize at the moment is that everybody knows they're desperate and has to unload players, so they're going to get 75 cents on the dollar. But even that will recoup plenty of money and allow them to go get the one thing they do need, which is a bona fide goal scorer. But that's really the only incoming move that Chelsea needs. If they have that and any collection of their roster at half the size, Pochettino's going to have a great roster in front of him, which is why this is not that difficult. He needs to exodus talented players and just keep the talented players he wants. He's got 35 or some odd guys to choose from and needs to narrow it down to 20-something. That is not a bad spot to be in, right? He's choosing between Raheem Sterling and Christian Pulisic and a young Mikhailo Modric and that's just on the left wing, right? That's just in one spot. And you got, guys like Mason Mount who seem to not have a place anymore. Can you imagine being a coach for a team that sees Mason Mount as expendable, a player of his caliber? So this is a really great spot for Pochettino to be in, assuming he has received the reassurances from Todd Boehly that he is going to have the say he wants in running this club. And I would imagine, and assuming he got these reassurances, that Todd Boehly is going to stay the hell out of the way. None of this coming in the dressing room and trying to rally the troops and stuff that owners should not have any part in doing. Let your manager manage. And Todd Boehly did not hire, in Graham Potter, a manager who had that kind of weight and that kind of presence in the locker room. Potter, we can dissect him at another time. He has his good qualities, but that was not one of them. Pochettino is. He is a manager of the people. He is a leader of men. He is a motivator. He is a culture builder. He did that at Tottenham. He had tremendous success there. And he wasn't able to do that at PSG because look at who they had. You had massive egos and prima donnas in Mbappe and Messi and Neymar. Three of probably the biggest four egos on the planet in terms of world football, right? He had them all on the front line. So he wasn't able to build that culture there because they were bigger than him, right? That's not going to happen at Chelsea. Chelsea does not have one player who's going to be bigger than the club or bigger than Mauricio Pochettino, unless, of course, they go after Neymar, which probably will not happen now. So he's not going to have those ego problems, and they've got so many damn players that if he's got an ego problem, bye-bye ego, I'll replace you with the three guys sitting behind you. So he's not going to have ego problems. He's not going to have talent problems. He's not going to have money problems. Why is this job so difficult, exactly? Because he's got too many good players and they're going to spend the entire summer offloading them? This is not a bad spot to be in. So yes, the expectations for Chelsea are always very high, and that in and of itself comes with an inherent amount of pressure to succeed, right? If he's not in the Champions League and advancing very far into it, and he's not competing for Premier League titles, then that's not good enough for Chelsea. So that inherently in and of itself makes this a difficult job. So I don't want to downplay it. But we look at the just horrendous mess that Chelsea has been this season, and the assumption is, this is going to be a difficult job to come back from. It's really not. You come in, you trim the fat, you keep the guys who want to be there, you build a culture, and you roll out as deep of a roster as anybody in the Premier League, including Manchester City. They have that level of depth already. They don't need to add much to it. So that is why this is not a particularly tough situation for Mauricio Pochettino. He is walking in with a club that is ready to win. They just need somebody to drive the ship. And he's actually a great choice to build that culture and to make this mess of a unit into a cohesive team. So I think this could be a quick turnaround for Pochettino, and Chelsea is going to be a force to be reckoned with next year, assuming, and this is the big caveat, assuming Todd Boehly stays out of the way now that he has his manager and lets Pochettino do what he was hired to do. I would love to hear thoughts on this. I'm sort of out there on this one, but I would love to hear thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Sort of, do I have a point? Please comment below. I would love to hear your opinions on this. Definitely hit that subscribe button for me. Like the video while you're at it. And follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM, where this conversation is going to be ongoing throughout the summer and throughout next year. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry. This is Total FIFA Career Mode.